I want to say this. First and foremost, there's no shame nor embarrassment in getting packed out, getting beat up. As long as you fight, you're respected. Now, did King fight? We don't know. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion about T.I.'s son, King.
Like, I don't have no gang. I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got motherfuckers who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't f***ing play with me, man? Don't play with my motherfucking child, ever.
It started with a silence. Not the kind that feels peaceful, but the kind that fills a house like smoke. Heavy, choking, impossible to ignore. T.I. sat in that silence one morning, his phone buzzing nonstop, his mind somewhere else entirely. He wasn't just a father in that moment. He was a man watching his son slip further and further away from the version of himself he once knew. For months, everyone had been talking. The videos, the interviews, the fights. Every time King Harris's name popped up online, it came with chaos. But this time it felt different. It wasn't just a headline anymore. It was personal. It was real. And no amount of fame or pride could hide the fact that something was deeply, painfully wrong. Because behind all the cameras and the comments, there was a father, T.I., who could see it clearer than anyone else. His son was losing himself. It's easy to forget that King grew up in a world most kids never experience. From the moment he was born, cameras followed him. People had expectations. Everyone wanted him to be T.I.'s son, but no one really let him be king. And that kind of pressure, it builds. It eats at you. T.I. used to tell himself it was normal. He thought that fame came with its own kind of growing pains. But when King started rebelling, sneaking out, posting wild videos, clashing with his parents, it stopped being about fame. It became about pain. The kind that doesn't go away with money or success. At first, T.I. laughed it off. He'd joke in interviews saying King was just finding his own way. But behind the scenes, things were getting darker. The arguments at home grew louder. The tension thicker. Tiny, always the peacemaker, tried to calm things down. But King wasn't listening to anyone. And then came the video. The one that changed everything. It was late at night when it surfaced. A shaky clip filmed on someone's phone. King Harris in a heated moment, shouting, cursing, throwing his hands up at the world. The internet went wild. Within minutes, his name was trending, and the comments were brutal. Some laughed. Some mocked. Others said it was just another celebrity kid spiraling. But for T.I. and Tiny, it wasn't just a viral moment. It was a cry for help. T.I. watched that video over and over. Not as a rapper, not as a public figure, but as a father. And with each replay, his heart broke a little more. Because behind King's anger, he saw something else. Fear. Confusion. Hurt. The kind that can't be masked by tattoos or tough talk. People online didn't see that. They saw a spoiled kid. But T.I. saw his baby boy. The same kid who used to run into his studio just to hear his dad rap. The same boy who'd fall asleep on his chest during long flights. The same little voice that once said, "I want to be like you, Daddy." But now that little boy was gone. It's not that King didn't love his family. Deep down he did. But fame changes the way you see yourself. Everyone around you has an opinion, and slowly you start believing them. King wanted to prove he wasn't just T.I.'s son. He wanted to make his own name. But in trying to find himself, he started losing who he really was. T.I. saw the signs early. The late-night calls, the wrong crowd, the attitude shift. He tried to talk to him, man to man, not father to son. But King didn't want to hear it. Every time T.I. tried to guide him, King took it as control. Every attempt to protect him felt like a chain he wanted to break. And that's when it hit T.I. Maybe his son didn't need protection. Maybe he needed space. So T.I. let go a little. But letting go didn't bring peace. It brought distance. Weeks passed. Then months. And before long, the silence between them turned into walls. Tiny noticed it first. She'd walk into the kitchen and see T.I. just staring at his phone, scrolling through photos of King, smiling, performing, acting wild. And she knew. He missed him. Not just physically, but emotionally. But the world doesn't stop for heartbreak. And when you're in the public eye, pain becomes entertainment. Every mistake King made was magnified. Every word T.I. said was twisted, and every rumor turned into a headline. Then came the hospital call. No one expected it. Not even King's closest friends. Word spread fast. King Harris had been rushed to the ICU. The details were murky. Some said it was exhaustion. Others said it was something deeper. But one thing was clear. The family was shaken to its core. T.I. didn't hesitate. He dropped everything and rushed to the hospital. Cameras followed him, flashes everywhere, but he didn't care. He didn't say a word. He just kept walking, his face cold but his eyes heavy. The kind of heavy that comes from sleepless nights and buried guilt. When he reached that hospital room, time seemed to stop. Machines beeped softly. The air was thick. And there lay King, quiet, still, pale. T.I. stood there, not as a celebrity, not as a man with millions of fans, but as a father who'd give anything to trade places with his son. Tiny held his hand, whispering prayers under her breath. The rest of the family gathered, some crying, some too shocked to speak. The room felt like a confession booth, everyone facing their own regrets. T.I. leaned closer, his hand trembling as he touched King's arm. And that's when the memories hit him. Every argument, every moment he said things he shouldn't have, every time he chose pride over peace. It all came crashing down. Outside, fans gathered. Some brought flowers. Some held signs that said, "Pray for King." Social media exploded with hashtags and prayers. But inside that hospital room, none of it mattered. What mattered was the boy lying in that bed, and the father realizing he might have waited too long to make things right. Hours turned into days. The updates were slow. One moment, King seemed stable. The next, doctors were worried again. T.I. barely left his side. Reporters caught glimpses of him pacing the hallways, his head down, his face etched with pain. Tiny tried to stay strong, but everyone could see it. This wasn't just a medical crisis. It was a family breaking in real time. Then something unexpected happened. King woke up. His voice was weak, but his first words hit T.I. like a punch to the chest. "Dad, I'm sorry." For a moment, T.I. couldn't speak. He just stared, tears streaming down his face. But before he could respond, King said something else, something that would haunt T.I. forever. "I just wanted you to see me." That's when it all made sense. The videos, the rebellion, the attitude, it wasn't hate. It was pain. It was a son begging for his father's attention in the only way he knew how. T.I. broke down right there. He didn't care who saw. Years of emotion, guilt, and pride came pouring out as he hugged his son. For the first time in a long time, there were no cameras, no performances, no headlines, just two people finally understanding each other. But healing isn't instant. Even after King's recovery, things weren't magically fixed. The damage was deep, and rebuilding trust takes time. T.I. started to change the way he talked about King publicly. Instead of defending or joking, he started showing vulnerability. He told people he wasn't perfect, that being a father in the spotlight doesn't come with a manual. Tiny, always watching quietly, said it best. Sometimes love means unlearning what you thought was right. The world still had its opinions. Some said King brought it on himself. Others blamed T.I., but for once the family didn't care about the noise. They focused on healing, privately, quietly. King started therapy. T.I. joined him. They didn't talk much about it publicly, but people noticed the shift. The energy between them felt softer, realer. Months later, T.I. made a post that broke the internet. It wasn't fancy, just a picture of him and King sitting side by side smiling. The caption read, "I got my boy back." That post said everything. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about music or money. It was about redemption. Because no matter how far someone drifts, love, real love, has a way of finding its way back. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Behind closed doors, T.I. still battles guilt. He replays the choices that led them here. He thinks about how fame changes people, not just the stars, but their families too. And he's learning that sometimes saving someone doesn't mean controlling them, it means listening, forgiving, and letting them grow. King, on the other hand, has started finding his voice again, not through drama, but through purpose. He's been speaking more openly about his struggles, trying to use his story to help other young people dealing with fame, pressure, and identity. It's a long road ahead, but for the first time in years, they're walking it together. Still, every time T.I. looks at his son, there's a flicker of fear in his eyes, the fear of losing him again. That's the kind of pain that never fully fades. But then King smiles, that same mischievous, confident smile from his childhood, and T.I. knows maybe this time they'll be okay. Because sometimes you don't realize how much someone means to you until the world nearly takes them away. And T.I. learned that lesson the hardest way possible. He couldn't save King from the world. He couldn't stop the mistakes, the headlines, the heartbreak. But in the end, he did something even harder. He forgave him. And maybe more importantly, he forgave himself. And that's how love survives the storm.